Hi everyone, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for Monday the 1st of March going through until Sunday the 7th of March 2021. We've got a really dramatic week coming up. People may be hiding things or lying to you, trying to manipulate situation, or there may be a lot of intrigue going on. So it's really a week where you need to pay attention to what is happening, not to believe everything that you're told, and to also listen to your intuition and your gut. If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't make sense, don't immediately act on it. That's going to be really important this week. Monday the 1st of March, we've got the moon in Libra. Libra is a cardinal sign, so that's about taking charge of your relationships and making sure the tone of those relationships is right, making sure certain things feel good. So that immediately puts a sense of obligation on you that if your relationships are good, then that is your doing, and you need to keep working towards keeping your relationships effective and positive. If your relationships aren't good, you may have the tendency to blame yourself for that. And I mean, relationships are a two-way street, so not everything is going to be your fault. So just make sure, again, you are reasonable about that. Because if everything's your fault, then you're really easy to manipulate. If you feel bad and it's like, oh, okay, what have I done now? Then that other person can kind of tell you whatever they want to tell you, really. You're setting yourself up by behaving that way, putting other people up here and putting yourself down there. So make sure that you find a middle ground there. So the Libra Moon opposes Chiron in Aries. That's personal healing, and they're at odds with one another. So it may feel like your happiness resides in other people, and that's not true. Your happiness resides in you. And again, if you create an imbalance between yourself and other people like that, then it ups the ante. It makes it much more tense. Because if there's something that you really want that other people have control over, then those other people are going to seem much more powerful than they really are. So you see how this immediately sets you up to kind of maneuver behind the scenes because you're feeling some sort of a way. So you really just need to check in with yourself and say, do you know what? I'm responsible for my own happiness. Other people are responsible for theirs, and that's fine. Let's all live in harmony. The Libra Moon trines Saturn, planet of the rules and your foundations. Mercury, the communication planet, the way you think and see the world, and Jupiter, the lucky planet, all of those are in Aquarius, the sign of the humanitarian and the human family. So the rules of humanity, what is seen as the common good and what the majority is interested in, and the things that seem positive, all of those are things that you're really focused on, and it takes the emphasis away from you again. And it's another thing that kind of tricks you into the idea that other people are responsible for my happiness, and they are not. The Libra Moon also quincunxes Uranus and Taurus. So Uranus is the planet of the unexpected and the miraculous. In Taurus, it's super practical, so expect some sort of tangible or practical change, news coming into your life on Monday. And the Libra Moon also quincunxes the Sun in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. So we've got water worlds getting involved now. The Sun in Pisces is really your focus on what could be. And Neptune in Pisces is a whole universe of imagination and creativity. So you can see how this is somewhat complex. You're in your own feelings. Other people are happy and they have it all figured out. You don't. And it kind of puts you in an odd position where you're almost expecting something bad, or you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And when you're kind of giving off that energy, other people, and you don't need to be a psychic for this, you can sense that, and it's like, oh, this person's got something going on. And then if they are triggered by that, they can react, and then you're creating a situation that's really coming about because of feelings and the way you're kind of giving off a particular energy. So on Monday, you are going to be super interested in your relationships. There may be some strong feelings that come up for you, which you may try and hide, because either they're painful or unwelcome, or it may feel like your feelings are showing you up, or they're making you drop the facade and you're coming across in a way that you don't want to come across. So there's really a negotiation going on with the self. Am I the authentic me and make myself vulnerable, or do I, live this persona? And the more authentic you are, the more invulnerable you are, because you don't have a chink in your armor. The best way forward on Monday is to connect with yourself and to heal any of these insecurities or wounds through meditation, creativity, rest, or exercise, whatever it is that gets you to your happy place. I meditate, and what happens to me sometimes is that it feels like my consciousness is sinking. If you've ever done yoga nidra, it's like the sleep yoga. It's really interesting. You do a rotation of consciousness. You focus on each finger and different parts of your body, and you can actually feel like your soul, your consciousness rotating. It's amazing. So when I do the meditation, I feel like I'm sinking down into this stream of consciousness, and that's where I get the love from and the guidance and the support, and that's my happy place. So if I forget that I'm responsible for my own happiness, then I do that, and it kind of gives me a good reminder. If you don't have something like that in your life, it's not about living a spiritual life or being good or, it's just a support that actually works. So rather than, I'm stressed, I'll smoke a cigarette, or I'll go see my boyfriend and we'll sleep together and I'll forget about everything for however long it is. Meditation is just making friends with yourself, and then having the self as an amazing resource you can rely on when things are tough, and it does really support you. So try and find what that is for you. Maybe it's playing the piano. Acting out through manipulation, lying, and that kind of behavior on Monday is not a good idea, because it's going to catch up with you. So try and be as authentic as possible. And if you do have negative feelings, then don't create an action plan based on those negative feelings. So I'm not happy with this situation, so I'm going to spread a rumor to bring them down. That is totally against what you're supposed to be doing on Monday. It's against what you're supposed to be doing in general, because what you put out, you get back. But on Monday, that kind of thing is being scrutinized and under the microscope, and you're not going to get away with it. That's the warning via Gregory Scott for Monday, the 1st of March. And that's nice, because with that being the first day of the month, that kind of says that honesty and integrity is going to be a big theme in March. Tuesday, the 2nd of March, we've got the moon still in Libra, so people are very important and have a role to play in my life. It squares Pluto and Capricorn. So again, the day before we had this kind of a little bit of a clue that some sort of practical changes may be going on in your life on top of all this relationship stuff, or as a result of the relationship stuff. So we're arguing and we split up and someone moves house. Pluto and Capricorn is also very practical, and it's even more dramatic because Pluto is life and death. It's really all or nothing. So the focus on relationship becomes really, really strong. And 2, something may change in your practical life that has an impact on your relationships. So if you find a new job and you're super happy about that and you tell all your friends, then it will change the relationships on that day, because you'll all be in celebration mode. The Libra Moon also quincunxes Mars and Taurus, and that is also action in a practical way. So something is going to develop, something outside of your control is going to happen that is going to make you focus on your relationships in the sense of, I'm going to pool this as a resource. So something's happened in my life practically, my health, my money, my job, news, anything like that. And it's important that other people support me and help me through this. Remember that you're not like this babe in the woods. You're not a deer in the headlights. You have power to deal with your own circumstances. So on Monday, it's like, oh, other people have it all figured out and I don't, so, oh, they must be up there. Tuesday, it's like something's happening, I need someone to bail me out, or I need someone to help me through this. And also, I don't think that's true, because I keep getting this resistance which says, you can totally get yourself through this, and if you do, you'll have evidence for the future that then says, hey, on the 2nd of March 2021, I already dealt with this, so I can deal with it again. So don't be too suckered into other people are the solution. They are in certain situations, but they're not the be-all and end-all to what's going on for you on Tuesday, all right? In fact, it's important that you do remember your own power. At the end of the day, the moon goes into Scorpio at 8:38 in the evening. The moon in Scorpio is really great in this kind of environment or climate, because it helps you to see the truth. So the wool isn't going to be pulled over your eyes. after the moon shifts into Scorpio, and that really helps you with the rest of the week, because you're not going to be so inclined to just be spoon-fed something or to be suckered into believing something that isn't true, like other people are the solution to all my life problems. They're not. You are the solution to all your life problems. Okay. So on Tuesday, you may be really surprised by a development in someone else's life that directly or indirectly also impacts your life. So that could be a romantic relationship or a colleague at work leaving, or really anything that changes your circumstances. You're intuitively switched on and will be able to spot any attempts to control or to manipulate you. So that makes Tuesday a little easier than Monday, even though the stakes are higher with Pluto being in the equation. So if that kind of happens, call it out in the moment and try and confront things that you don't want happening again. So the way someone treats you, for example, if you're at work and someone, I don't know, just behaves inappropriately, rather than just ignoring it and saying, oh, that was awkward, say, I don't want that to happen again. That makes me really uncomfortable and I don't think it's appropriate in the workplace. End of. Because if you don't address it like that, then the behavior continues and it becomes more ingrained. So you really have to, one, get it into your mind correctly that other people don't hold all this power over you. Because if you think that, you'll never call anyone out. And the really secret positive thing here on Tuesday is that you have the potential to confront things and to put an end to them once and for all, which is super important. On Wednesday the 3rd of March, we've got Mars going into Gemini. I love it. That's really good news. Gemini is party time, it's optimism, it's learning, it's the future, it's connection, it's really nice. And Mars is the male principle, okay? It's ambition, it's drive. I don't know if you've ever met anyone whose ambition has scared you. Sometimes you meet people and they've got this sense that life needs to give them something, and the ambition is almost like this other being residing in them, and it can be somewhat intimidating and intense. And Mars in Gemini's prerogative is really to have the best time possible, so that huge ambition is now focused on having a great time, and that really changes the energy of the week significantly. So Monday and Tuesday are kind of little worlds of themselves. Wednesday is much more, it's not as complicated and intense, let's just have a good time. Venus is in Pisces, so an appreciation for the beautiful, intangible things you can't pay for in life, love, spirituality, patience. It sextiles Uranus and Taurus, so anything untoward or unexpected that happens on Wednesday, you'll be able to deal with that in a very calm and placid way, whereas on Monday, Tuesday, you're not calm and placid, you're just like running around looking for someone to rescue you. The Scorpio moon opposes Uranus and Taurus, so your emotional state of being is unshakable. You're like the Buddha, okay? You're like in yourself. So if you try to meditate on Tuesday, it looks like you will find what you're looking for, because on Wednesday, you're really kind of centered in yourself. The Scorpio moon squares Saturn, Mercury and Jupiter in Aquarius. We had those earlier on Monday, where the Libra moon trined those three planets. Now we've got the moon opposing them, and there's more of a distance. So we're not friends, we're at odds with one another. So my feelings are much more important than the rules, or what other people think, or this perceived opportunity that if I don't meet the deadline, I'm going to miss forever. You just become a little bit more, yeah, right, whatever. Whatever, I'm not going to believe everything I hear. So your own natural skepticism comes back on Wednesday. Also, with that being said, don't get suckered into things on Monday, Tuesday. If someone gets a kick out of seeing you jump off the high thing in the swimming pool and you're scared of heights, that may amuse them very much, but it's not going to benefit you, okay? So we've got the Venus and Uranus sextile, yep. Then we've got the Scorpio with those big planets in Aquarius, and we've got a trine between the Scorpio moon and Venus in Pisces and the Sun in Pisces. So that really gives you an appreciation for love and intimacy and art and the imagination and what could be. So Wednesday is the time to have fun. You're curious about everything and you can enjoy the pleasures in life. Your relationships really calm down and you feel much more connected. It's safe to enjoy the company of other people and to reap the rewards of your hard work to make your relationships work. So watch out for untruths or people spreading rumors or any sort of strategic gossip. That is going to continue. It's just your ability to deal with it becomes much better as the week goes on. And again, if anything happens on Wednesday that you don't like, then it's best to call it out in the moment than to let it pass and for it to grow behind the scenes. So if you're sitting around with a bunch of your friends and someone starts talking about a friend who isn't there and saying, oh yeah, you know, have you heard about the marriage? It's really dreadful. Then you can either listen to that and let that information be spread around your group, or you can say, hang on a moment, this is our friend, we don't talk that way, and this is none of our business, and it could be really negative, and it can have a really bad effect. So zip it, please. And not everyone's comfortable doing that, because obviously it puts your friendship under pressure. If you tell someone to shut up, then some people are more sensitive than others, and sometimes you need to be told to shut up if you're talking a load of nonsense. It's true. And a good friend, if you're, unwittingly spreading some sort of malicious rumor, then a good friend would say, hey, listen, Greg, just shut up, because you're really spreading an untruth here. You may not be aware of what you're doing, so I'm telling you as a friend to please zip it. And that needs to be done sometimes. Okay, Thursday the 4th of March, we've got the moon going into Sagittarius. More positivity. The moon in Sagittarius is the moon looking at the expansiveness of the universe. Sagittarius is a centaur, right? So the default mode of the centaur is to gallop and to be in motion and to get things moving and to feel the heat and the passion and to look at the next thing, the next adventure, the next thing that could be explored. So combined with Mars and Gemini, that really gives you this amazing appreciation and optimism, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we don't even need the light because things are so fun and good. It's really nice. The Sagittarius moon then opposes Mars in Gemini, and that causes friction between the two. So it's really interesting because they're both somewhat aligned, I would say. Mars in Gemini is interested in the current moment and the information you've got and what you can do with it to have the best time possible. Sagittarius says, this is the other stuff that you're not aware of that you could explore, and that could be even more fun. So it's really nice Thursday. Mercury is in Aquarius. So an understanding and appreciation for other people. It conjunct Jupiter in Aquarius. Wow. So Jupiter, the lucky planet in Aquarius, information is really likely to become exposed or to come up on Thursday the 4th. Big news that overtake everything else, that kind of like a shockwave, blast everything else away. There will be information that comes through on Thursday. And again, you're not entirely focused on that. What you're focused on is your situation and how you can have the best time possible. So on Thursday, it's kind of like an energetic springtime. You'll want to travel, you'll want to have fun, learn something new. You're fearless when it comes to the future. So it's a great day to ask yourself, what is it that I really want? If you ask yourself that, and usually you get something coming up, but it scares the hell out of you because it's like, oh, I could never do that. Like be a YouTube personality. And you're like, I'm an introvert, I couldn't do that. Then this day is great to really revisit that, because your fear or your ego is not going to keep that answer from you. And then second, it's not going to make you dismiss it out of fear. It's going to say, hey, this is here, I should do something with it. So you'll be intrigued by that. And there may be some news in the public or globally that will signal happier times, because that Mercury and Jupiter conjunction is like a satellite dish on steroids. It's just able to send out much more info, and it's able to receive much more info. On Friday the 5th of March, we've got the Sagittarius moon forming a square with Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity, and the sun in Pisces. So that's really a fab, because that gives you, it's really sweet this. This is like the belief in love. It's like I've met someone new and I can almost see us developing in this relationship, and then one day getting married and having a dog. And that may seem silly sometimes, but it's important to be able to play the tape forward in that way, because if you don't see the potential in something new and it working out, then how can anything work out ever? Or why would you try again ever? You know, it's the same thing. If you've had several relationships, it's like me, I'm single because my past relationships didn't work out. I could say, well, why bother trying again? They didn't work. So when I meet someone new and I go into a new relationship, then in a way I'm deluding myself by saying, oh, this could be really amazing and could work out and be great. But then, so you could say I'm somewhat deluded, but then on the other hand, if I didn't do that, then you'd say I'm jaded and I don't believe in love. So do you see what I mean? Sometimes we have to believe in the best and in the potential and the possibility of things working out, because sometimes they do. So if you meet your partner at 50 and your relationships until then hadn't worked, if you gave up early, if you quit before the miracle happens, as they say in recovery, then you wouldn't have found the amazing relationship that you've got. And this Sagittarius moon squaring Venus and the Sun in Pisces energy gives you that belief in what could be and the amazing things that you could find in life. It trines Chiron in Aries, so that you are healed by Friday. And it sextiles Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury in Aquarius. Those three are together all week. And that's like a benevolent institution, you know, like in George Orwell's 1984, the Ministry of, what was it, like Big Brother or whatever. Ultimately, the whole thing is about a society that becomes very oppressive. And Saturn, Jupiter, and Mercury is the opposite of that. It's the human family all on the same page, and if we all work together, what could we achieve? And that would be nice if that was the case all the time. It is the case. And in spiritual truth, it exists and it's a possibility. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to imagine it. So it is something that can be done. And on Friday the 5th, there's this lovely clicking into the human family and feeling at one with everyone. So there isn't that much potential for conflict on Friday. In fact, it's a really, really romantic day where you feel the potential in everything and you'll want to have experiences, positive experiences that you can remember. So instead of looking at past memories, it's important to make new memories on this day. So ideally doing things that you've always dreamt of doing or that you already enjoy doing, or by spending time with people you love. There's the potential to fix untruths and misunderstandings from earlier in the week, so especially Monday, Tuesday, but there's also the potential to get relationships back on track even if they've been off track for a really, really long time, and to resolve misunderstandings from months or even years ago. Ultimately, there's the great potential for mutual understanding, and it's really easy to get where someone else is coming from. So if you find it difficult to put yourself in other people's shoes at times, you're going to find it easy on Friday. So listen and try and understand if you have no understanding of what someone else is going through in your life. If you're resentful or angry and everyone else is saying, well, they're sick, you should have compassion, but you're fed up. Like if someone in your life has, I don't know, got addiction or some mental health issue, and you've been robbed and you've been screamed at and it's really a good point to not dismiss those experiences, but to accept them and to see them differently, because you now have a greater understanding of why all of that occurred. So before the conversation, you may think, well, you know, they were addicted and of course they were going to rob me, but it still angers me because it disrupted my whole life. If you speak to them, you may hear something, or something may be shared that really just deepens your understanding, or that really allows you to let go of the resentment, basically. So if you have problems with someone, make yourself available and be willing to work out those issues on Friday, because you really have a great chance to do that. And being resentful and hating someone is really exhausting. If you've got any of that in your life, please, please, please try and get rid of it, because it makes you ill. It's really like, and I'm sorry, recovery people, I'm stealing all your material, but it's like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. It just doesn't work. On Saturday, the 6th of March, we've got the moon moving into Capricorn. I have to say, all of this emotional stuff during the week, I really like that, because for me, in terms of my relationships with what's been happening for the last year or so, my life outside the home obviously has got much smaller. So it's not so much about relationships with everyday people for me, but when there's this kind of complex, intuitive energy happening, I've noticed that for me, it kind of energizes me. Because I like unpicking emotional things. I like to try and understand. So this gives me a lot of stuff to work with. But then on Saturday and Sunday, when the moon is in Capricorn, I also really like that because it feels grounded and serious, and it's almost like you have a head teacher watching over you and saying, good boy, bad boy. It feels like you're not alone, and things are really, they make sense, because Capricorn likes things to make sense. It doesn't like vague, nuanced, complicated. It likes left or right. So on Saturday, with the moon going into Capricorn, things just deflate a little bit. The emotional intensity goes out the window. The Capricorn moon also quincunxes Mars in Gemini. The fun bus. Party city. Mars in Gemini. Who would I think of would be a person, Mars in Gemini? Gemini, I would say, is Joan Rivers. But the Mars in Gemini wouldn't really fit. I would say she was Mercury in Gemini, pure comedy. Mars in Gemini is someone who's really powerful and strong and who expresses things in a funny, unique way. I don't know. Give me some examples in the comments of people you think fit that description. That's the energy that's with you on Saturday. Combined with the sober-mindedness of Capricorn, it's really very simple. It's air and earth. It's I think, therefore I am. It feels really good. Saturday it will feel light and positive, and the good times you have on that day and the good times you've been having during this week, they could give you new ideas on how to work towards financial freedom for yourself. Capricorn takes an interest in your work and in your career. So on Saturday, you're also articulate and you can express yourself easily and clearly. If you're a writer or if you have something difficult to share, you'll find the words to get your point across beautifully on Saturday, the 6th of March. So try and express anything that's been difficult for a while on Saturday. And if you have to share something like that, leave it till Saturday, because that's the best chance you're giving yourself to get the point across effectively. It's annoying when you have a conversation and you're really kind of wearing your heart on a sleeve and you're trying to, really express your feelings and get the other person to understand, and you just can't get the right words out, and afterwards you drive off and you're like, oh, I should have said that. It's really annoying that. And you won't have that experience on Saturday. You'll be able to, your words will match your thoughts. On Sunday, the 7th of March, we've got the Capricorn moon squaring Chiron in Aries. Very down to earth, very serious. If you want to heal yourself, do it yourself. It's that kind of vibe. It trines Uranus and Taurus. So again, something unexpected. So a lot of potential for things coming in this week that are surprising, that are positive, that really kind of make life fun and wild and unpredictable. It sextiles Venus in Pisces. I love to work. And it quincunxes Mars in Gemini. I like to talk and make jokes. So we've got lots of different positive energy. So we've got Mars in Gemini, that optimism and that expressiveness. Venus in Pisces, an appreciation for what could be and what you've got already, gratitude. Uranus in Taurus, any wonderful thing coming into your life, and the sense that I am healed. I'm okay. And if you're okay, everything else is okay. On Sunday the 7th, there may be an urgent sense that you need to get your head back into the game. And you may experience some stress about your work, or your health, or your home, or the way you structure your everyday routine. Don't panic. This gives you the opportunity to manifest what it is you want in those areas, and it could give you material for ideas, or the day could be evidence of something that you can use in your creative work. So earlier when I said, well, I overcame this on the 2nd of March 2021, so I'll be able to do it again. Sunday the 7th of March is similar. You're able to really prove something to yourself. So whatever happens today is temporary and will be a symbol of something that's still unresolved for you. Ask for help, express yourself to other people, and be honest with yourself and resolve those issues. So it's an amazing week of intense emotional experiences, but also the added blessing of being able to resolve things that have been problematic for a while and to put them to bed once and for all. If you've got issues about certain things, I can just speak from my experience. I've always had relationship issues, right? With especially romantic relationships, normal relationships, not so much. But I've gone to therapy, I meditate, I pray, I've gone to recovery things, and one pattern that came up again and again was me trying to contact someone or me being interested in someone and the response being very kind of not the same. It's kind of like getting texts back a few hours later or a few days later and just basically feeling rejected and like the other person isn't that into you. That's been a theme that I can recognize and I'm not ashamed of. That's been a theme in my life. And the thing, you know, when your issues are over, when the same thing comes up in your life, and rather than engage in the same behavior, like so for me, when I feel the lack of interest, rather than chasing that person, it's not something I engage in anymore. It's just like, okay, well, you're not that interested. I'm certainly not going to chase you. That's not my job. And that for me was such an epiphany moment because it made me realize it's like, oh wow, something has shifted here where I've grown up and I don't feel the need to chase you anymore. I don't feel the need to participate in this dynamic anymore. And I don't know which book I read that it was, or which session of meditation, or whether it was just an age thing, why that is no longer something I have to participate in. Who knows, right? But ultimately, you do outgrow certain issues, you are able to resolve things once and for all, and when you stop engaging with the dynamic, then it stops appearing into your life and something else, something better appears. And that's what you can do on Sunday. You can just get to that point, it's like, oh wow, I've outgrown my daddy issues, or my mummy issues, or my whatever. I don't know, I was thinking this morning, I was like, I'm someone who processes things slowly, right? So if something traumatic happens to me, then it takes me quite a long time to get over those things. And I was just thinking this morning, I'd have to be like 120 if I wanted to get over my childhood trauma. I don't think I'm going to be 120. So it's about accepting that you resolve things at your own pace, we all do. That you're not going to be entirely healed of everything, because that's not the human way. We don't do that. We all walk around somewhat wounded, I think. And that is okay, that you can function with some of your issues not being resolved. But then the hope and the truth also is that there are certain things in your life which you will overcome, which will not affect you forever, ever. And one day you're just going to drop them and they're not going to have any power over you anymore. All of those things are true. None of them are mutually exclusive. Nothing is absolute. Okay, that's what I get for this week. It looks like a fabulous week. I like a bit of drama myself sometimes, so I'm really looking forward to this week. I hope you have a fabulous time. If you would like a personal reading with me, what I do in my personal readings, I use astrology, tarot, and numerology, and I combine all three. So, like if something is 2 degrees Leo, then I look at the 2 degrees as well as the Leo. And I look at what 2 means in numerology and I combine the meaning in your chart. So your birth chart, I draw up by taking your place of birth, date of birth and time of birth. I draw up your chart. That's a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, and that's called your natal chart, your birth chart. And I analyze that and I can see what your life purpose is, where the best place is for you to live, what's destined for you in love, and where you have choice and what you can do about it, work, career, health, anything at all. So if you have any questions, then please do get in touch with me via my website, gregoryscott.com. On the front page, you'll see a button that says book your reading. Just click on that. You can order your reading then. And if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share the video online. Also in my readings, I don't just analyze the birth chart, I also look at the progress chart, which is artificially constructed by me, your transits, what the planets are doing now and how they're moving over your chart and what's coming up for you in future. I use composite charts, so if you're looking at being compatible with someone else, I take your chart and his or her chart and I combine them. And if your sun is in the 12th house and his or hers is in the 10th house, then in that composite chart it will be in the 11th house. They meet in the middle, midpoint, and the chart is like a snapshot of your relationship or the energy of the relationship. So I look at that And there are all sorts of things I use to look at what's coming up in future and to answer your questions. So if you are interested, then please do get in touch. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share the video online. Have a fabulous week. Check out some of my other videos on the full moons, the new moons, the daily tarot readings if you like tarot. Have a wonderful time, and I'll speak to you next week.